And hello and welcome back to Majikoi, and we're back for another short reaction review of the Chris route. There will be spoilers. I will not be summarizing the route. I will simply discuss my reactions. So, my reactions to this. So again, spoilers. Spoilers for this, and maybe spoilers for other routes. So, if you're not interested in this at all, then feel free to jump ahead. If I want to give my TLDR of what I thought of it, without any spoilers, it's bad. Yeah. Bad. Very bad. Shall we get into it? Okay, well, so, I'm sort of... I have this whole list of stuff, notes I took. You can see, sort of see my progression of thoughts and whatnot. We went through the routes, and it was a lot of standard fare. I wouldn't say it had the most interesting side events and stuff either, in general. I didn't really find the relationship story between Yamato and Chris to be the best. That was developing, but it was fine going through it. And it was interesting, and it seemed like Chris was, in order to make the relationship even make sense, basically becoming more like Yamato than Yamato was even remotely becoming more like her. Maybe a bit more of a emphasis on the aspects that were already sort of similar to her. But, you know, it really seemed more like she just, like, recontextualized all the random concepts she had in her head to try to make everything work, essentially, with Yamato stuff, but in reality, like, her perspective on a lot of stuff just basically went way more in line with Yamato's. So I was like, eh. And the drama that was piping up had a lot to do with her father, obviously, and honestly, that part was sort of meh. It was what it was. It had potential, but it was what it was. And then eventually you get to a point where it's the deciding factor of whether they're going to be together, because Chris's whole thing is that her father won't want her to actually, you know, date people and etc, 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 and what does the game decide is the solution to her basically choosing her family over the relationship? You probably know. You probably know if you've played this before. It's a rape. No if, ands, or buts about it. It's just fucking rape. And she likes it. Everyone around Yamato is like, yeah, good idea. You're actually doing it? Oh, cool. They call it night creeping, but... why? It's just rape. It legitimately is just rape. Is it like the translation decided to call it night creeping? I'm very curious of like the original Japanese, like if they called it something else or something that would actually be interpreted as rape. In the language, night creeping is not really a thing. Never heard of it before. I actually looked it up, like in Urban Dictionary and stuff like that, and I didn't find anything. There's like normal creeping and stuff like that. Night creeping is not a thing. So they basically just made up a term to basically say rape without saying rape. And at that point, I just couldn't take anything seriously anymore. It was sort of an okay story at that point anyways, and there was like before that, easily the best part of everything was teasing Chris, because that's funny. I will say, teasing Chris never got old, at the very least. I'm not counting any of the sex scenes, including the rape. Funny. So, as you can see, as you can hear, I'm not particularly happy about this route. Because the thing about it is, because the rape, that's the thing about the rape. It wasn't just rape in it. That would have been bad on its own. But it was sort of the cornerstone for everything progressing from there on. The relationship was like the cornerstone of that developing. The rape. the cornerstone of that developing and then affecting all the plots that comes after that? The rape! All the emotional appeals, like the development of Chris's character and stuff like that, the cornerstone? The rape! Yeah! You know, for Wonka's route, I said, like, I sort of hope these happen in all of them, just because, like if I get to the true route, all of them happen, because there's a lot of issues they work through. No, don't make that happen in Chris's. Please, no. That's absolutely horrible. Yes, let her work through some of her weird issues with her family and such, but for fuck's sake. So basically, as soon as that happened, I couldn't take it seriously anymore. I skimmed through most of the rest of it, honestly. At that point, it's just like... It killed my care for it. It killed basically everything, because it was just like... Every time they tried to do anything dramatic or anything like that, it's just like... Oop, okay. It's all based on the rape. It all spawns from the rape, but that's still the cornerstone of fucking everything. I honestly thought better. I thought Majikoi was better than this. I guess not, but after going through 4 routes, like, there's ridiculous stuff, but man, that's just... They do ridiculous things in it, obviously. It's over the top in a lot of ways. But usually, it still feels grounded. Like, Momo has these superpowers and whatnot, but it feels like it naturally informs her personality, and it feels like, you know, a real person, a well-written character. Wonka doesn't have these superpowers, and is thrown into a world where you sort of have to deal with a bunch of people that just have innate talents all around her. And she's basically forced to find a way to get to the core of what she wants out of life and be able to be fulfilled and whatnot, while being blocked off from, you know, being able to be like all these people that have talents that she just doesn't. Which is realistic, and it's grounded, and it's interesting, and it's an interesting way to take a story and make it really interact with this wacky world, and actually make it a bit compelling from a dramatic side, and stuff like that. And then you have Chris's, which, if I took out the rape, it would be sort of be by the numbers in a lot of ways. And then once you add in the rape, you just fucking don't give a shit anymore. So I'm sorry, people who like this route. I don't know why. I honestly don't think I can understand, outside of just, like, liking Chris as a character and blocking out the bullshit. But fuck, wow, it leaves a horribly bad taste in my mouth. It really does. Honestly, across the entire game, it's not a good thing. It isn't in any way. And I really hope I can at least shake it off and not let it influence me by the time I'm recording the True Route stuff after this, so... I don't want to make this too long. If you're curious about my progression of thoughts, basically, I explained a lot of my opinions and observations there, and I'm not going to do what I did with Mayuchi and go through each of them, because I'm in such a different state of mind for most of them that I wouldn't be able to do them justice anyways. If you have a question about any of them, feel free to ask, but... Why? And, you know, like, afterwards, I did remember that some people said there was a controversial scene, which I do remember thinking about previously. And I do remember, I ended up forgetting going into it. I forgot about it. I did forget about it, and then that happened. And... Yeah, that honestly is a full product that because it's one of those things that inherently the reason the problem with the route overall is that you have that scene in there. Sure, you're gonna remove it or whatever, but narratively it becomes a cornerstone, like I said, to basically everything. And because it's such a narrative cornerstone to one of the routes, it sort of bleeds into your impression of everything else in the game too. So... Yay! Again, I think I'm probably just in the phase where I'm letting it influence my opinion a bit more in a wear way at time, but no. You could have told the same story without the rape too. You could have had just some other random effects that caused that change in decision, and it would have been by the numbers and basic, but it would have been so much better. I've been talking about this for like 10 minutes. That's what the recording says, so I don't think you care at this point if you're staying here. So yeah, that's my opinion on it. And I'm just going to try to move on at this point because, wow. Just fucking wow. Why? Well, okay, yeah. That's that. And we'll be getting to the true route stuff soon enough on the channel. So, I'll see you next time for that. And hopefully the world isn't stupid. Drive safely, everyone.